Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. It's Mark, and it's the Sunday Rant. Hey, they reintroduced this bill, the Got Truckers Act, whatever, guaranteeing overtime for truckers act. Now, this bill has been introduced a few times, but this time who's we? This time there is bipartisan support on it, and will it go anywhere? I don't know. Here's the deal. Since 1938, truck drivers, us, have been exempt from overtime past 40 hours. Now, that doesn't mean a company can't pay it. That just means they don't have to pay it. So if you are not getting it, it's because your company chooses to not give it to you. Whatever the company says, oh, we don't have to pay it. Yeah, you don't have to pay it, but you can pay it. Where I work, they pay overtime past 40 hours. You shouldn't work somewhere that doesn't, which we'll get into in a minute. So how will this work for drivers that are mileage? I don't know. And by the way, for those of you asking, no, I'm not a lawyer, so this is not legal advice, right? Go seek an attorney if you want legal advice. So I think, personally, that I would want mileage and a half, okay? I think everybody should get hourly, but I think you should ask for mileage and a half if this passes. As an aside, all of you, especially Prime and all these other companies where you lease purchase, meaning you rent a truck from them until you go bankrupt and they take your truck back, you won't get this because you're independent. This is for employees, not 1099 people, not you Chicago area 1099 scam companies from all the suburbs of Chicago. Oh, you come and lease truck from us. Right, no. None of those people. You're a driver, but everything expenses taken out of your truck. No. Employees would get overtime. You know, the same thing that a 15-year-old gets at McDonald's. That's what I think drivers should tell their company if they're not getting overtime today. Hey, do you think you could pay me at least what a 15-year-old at McDonald's gets? Okay, that would be great. All I do, though, I see a lot of complaints from drivers now and always have. Oh, I don't get overtime. I'm working 60 hours and not getting paid. Yeah. Why? Because you will come in again tomorrow and not get paid overtime. Seriously. It seems simple. Mark, that's very brutal. No, it's very simple. Companies will pay as little as possible if you'll come in. If companies could pay you 3 cents a day and they could get drivers, they would do it. The only reason they don't pay it is they probably can't get anybody. Maybe they still could. The reason that they don't pay overtime at many places or have it after 45 or 50, I've seen after 60 hours of pay overtime, is because you will accept that. Some drivers are there driving their trucks accepting that pay. So as long as you accept not getting overtime, you don't get overtime. They'd probably do that at McDonald's to the 15-year-old also, except they can't because of the law. So really the way to change this is today, companies that don't pay overtime, of course, as I always say, they shouldn't have any employees. You go, no, I'm not coming into work because you're not paying me any overtime, so I'm not going to come in. So we're not doing that. But drivers come in. The thing about this time with the bipartisan support, and it was introduced in the House and Senate at the same time, same act. So if it goes through, it'll go to the president. Okay. For a signature. He hasn't commented whether he would sign it or not. And I don't know what the total support is, where they could override a veto. Not sure about that. I think it would be mileage and a half. That's what I think you should ask for. That's time and a half. That's 50% more than you currently get for those miles past 40. I don't know. I don't know how it would work. But everybody would be overtime. And who's against it? Well, who do you think's against it? The ATA. Oh, what did he say? This would upend the great wages that we've already been giving drivers. Right. Saying we would have to pay people even more, and then the billions of dollars companies make would be slightly less billions of dollars. I love it. As I have always said, in any industry, any company, if you can't pay your employees a decent wage, you should close. You're not doing things right. I still see companies, especially through the Southwest for some reason, in the high 30s to low 40 cents. Oh my gosh. But same thing. What? They get people to come in because people don't realize that they're being hosed. They're being so hosed. Unbelievable. So I'd like to see this go through, only just to stop the griping of drivers who are too afraid to do anything for themselves. Oh, I can't go in and ask my boss. Go in there and tell him, look, you need to pay me more. You're a loser, right? This place stinks and you're horrible for not paying me, right? Go in and tell him. You're not there to be friends with the boss. You're not there to be friends with the dispatcher. This is work. They're there to pay you a check and you move freight around. They don't have to like you, right? Stop trying to be liked by everybody, okay? Your work is not Instagram where they want, oh, I got to get a thumbs up or they're going to, no. Do not be afraid to go in and tell them. And you say, oh, well, Mark, you probably don't say anything. Oh, yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I assume everybody in the office hates me because if there's a problem, they hear about it from me. And if they're giving somebody else grief, they hear about it from me. 100%. I call up. I've gotten tons of stuff done by making calls for other people who are too afraid to do it. So don't think I don't do it. And if they want to fire me, I'm all in for it. I've told him, right? If you fire me, by the time the paperwork is done from you, I'll already be working somewhere else. So never be afraid to go in and stand up for yourself, and never be afraid to stand up for somebody else in your job. You see them getting hosed over, go in there and say, hey, listen, hey, who do you think you're talking to over here, right? And this overtime thing, you should already be in there saying, hey, you shouldn't have taken the job. That's what I think. When you call them and they go, oh, well, we don't pay overtime, click, or tell them, look, no overtime, no work, right? Simple. But this may go through. We're going to follow it. We're going to follow it and see what happens. Can you imagine mileage and a half? Think right now, take some time. How many miles did you do once you hit 40 hours to the end of your week, logged, because it's going to be off a log for sure, because you should be logging legal. How many miles did you do in that time? And think of that in mileage and a half and think how much you would have made. That's the possibility. Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon with another Trucking Answers.